what they're going to show at the Tokyo Game Show is going to be all their partners that's all in the Eastern market in Asia, all of that stuff. That's encompassing Black Myth Wukong. So everybody wants a date for Black Myth. You're going to have a date. But I heard the whole slate from Square.
The whole slate, including like 7?
The whole slate. I thought that Final Fantasy would be here. Final Fantasy 16, to be honest with you. So, again, not my greatest moment. I did not like the moment at all. So this to me, honestly, was probably your worst show of the year. Then you came out talking about a damn Fire Stick. I really don't care about it.
I don't.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to another Xvault gaming video. Xvault here, and welcome to your first dose of the Salty Batch files for the week. And of course, we got to see somebody not hold the line very well, Mr. King David himself, so you love to see it. But that being said, we have a lot more copium to go over, a lot more examples to go over of sheer delusion. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump to it. All right, so like I said, new week comes new salt, comes new copium, new delusion, all the above. That's just what happens every week. They just can't handle it. So our first example here, we're still feeling the effects of the PlayStation 5 Pro from Xbox Series XS here. And keep in mind, this account has a lot of followers, surprisingly, and they're lying all the time, but lo and behold, we have channels like myself, the far and few between, but here we are. Digital Foundry confirms the Xbox Series X is the console of choice to play. Hashtag Alan Wake 2, the devil emoji. Mesh shaders versus primitive shaders, RIP PS5 Pro. Kind of crazy. This is something I'd expect from Go Gaming or something of that sort, right? But here we have Oliver at least correcting here. So thank you, Oliver. Shout out to you. This is a 1-year-old video and doesn't reflect the current state of the game. Never mind how the PS5 Pro may run it. Exactly. You want to talk about falsifying assumptions and such like that? You know, again, that they are in their fills when they have stuff like this here, and they're just talking out of their ass as usual. And here we have that prime example. You love to see it, you love to see the hurt, but you don't love to see the misinformation. But lo and behold, again, a very large following account. I'm here to correct that. You love to see it, and I love the fact that we have users out there calling them out as well, because I can't be everywhere all at once. It's just impossible. So thank you for a community out there that likes to hold them accountable. As well, but let's continue here, shall we? Now we're back to the Anna Anson. We all know how delusional they are, of course, and they go on. This is pure delusion. This is crazy. The Death Stranding 2 downgrade is embarrassing. The graphics look outdated and previous gen. This is most likely the PlayStation 5 Pro, which makes it even more embarrassing. Hellblade 2 on Xbox Series S is way better. I think the reason Xbox games look better is because Microsoft is rich. Hashtag Xbox Game Pass. They're so rich, and that's what drives talent, right? Is just them being rich in general. Not all the layoffs that they unfortunately did, not all of the mismanagement, not the overspending and acquisitions, and due to that they have to alter their Game Pass tiers and such like that. But just from the example that they post too, and you know it's altered and doctored a little bit and maybe stretched or zoomed in further than it should be depending on the image and whatnot. I still think, and this is just, I'm not even a huge Death Stranding guy. Like, the first one is fine. I think it has a great audience. I think it's a niche audience. Not everybody's gonna love it. I think the same thing will happen with number 2. I'll still try and give it a go maybe. But regardless of that, all biasness aside, regardless of where Death Stranding has been at, and it's going to be on PC as well and such like that, I still think this convoluted pic comparison, I think the Death Stranding 2 picture on the left-hand side looks better than the Hellblade 2 picture on the right side, which is more than likely undoctored at that point. So, pure saltiness. They know that Death Stranding 2 is not hitting the Xbox console space, and so what better way than to sit there and doctor some stuff, zoom in, stretch, very comparatively configure something together here. And then, of course, assuming that this is running on the PlayStation 5 Pro, not even a PC, which when things are this early in development, which Death Stranding still is, it is usually running off of a PC at this point in time. So a double entendre there of what we're looking at, more salt. You love to see it. You love to see it. The delusion from this person is just so far out there. But let's continue. We obviously have more examples here. So another delusional take from Snap Blast Play. What more can I say here? Let's pull this up here like we see. Call me when the PS5 Pro has games that look as good as the Xbox Series S. And shows examples again of Hellblade 2, right? And he's saying, supposedly this is from this Series S, and perhaps it is, I don't know. But now, we're lying again. We know how I've been over in the past on these past videos of Salty Batch Files, and stating that if you lie about stuff like this, if you sit there and compare that the Series S is totally fine, they don't have limitations, which is why we've had delays of games like Baldur's Gate 3 and so on and so forth from other games in regards to how it computes and processes and we're sitting there and we're continuing to put the blindfold over people. Again, Snap Blast has a pretty decent following of followers on there, and some of those are going to be casuals. As a matter of fact, if you guys don't know out there, why I bring up casual gamers often is not to shame anybody, because that's understandable, but just a statistic is basically 2/3, if not over 2/3 of gamers, believe it or not, are in fact casual gamers. So when I go over this stuff, there's a reason behind it. This kind of misinformation does harm and hurt the fan base. Is this enough to turn over what they think will, that they're going to stop the casuals from getting a PlayStation or a Switch or going to play on PC and sit there and say, you know what, this guy's right though, I'm going to get a Series S, the weakest of all the consoles right now at this point. I mean, I know it's more powerful than the original Switch, which will have the Switch 2 eventually here soon enough, but regardless, they're not going to change enough minds or show even the casual audience that, hey, look, this is what I'm going to go for. A 5-hour walking simulator is what's going to sell me on a console. Great job, because graphics are what matters, not gameplay, not anything else. Am I right? Craziness at its finest here, but we'll just continue on to another Snap Blast Play post here as well. We're, of course, at this point in time recording. The DLC for Starfield has arrived, so here we have Starfield on Xbox, Game of the Generation, Shattered Space, DLC of the Generation. Now, according to Steam, the reviews on there, the user reviews, are down in the 40s the last time I just checked at the time of this recording, so I don't think that qualifies as Game of the Generation, nor the DLC of the Generation at the most, right? They're continuing to spend something, which, it's hilarious, because we know these games are going to head to the PlayStation ecosystem as well, so the most they're going to tout here is incredible. So latch on to what that is a current PC and then, of course, Xbox exclusive game here, but this more than likely will be heading over to a competing platform in due time. But beating on that same drum, no, this is still not a Game of the Generation, far from it at the most, because this game didn't even win Game of the Year, lest we remind the audience out there. And then, of course, this DLC is going to fall flat, and is definitely not DLC of the Generation. If somebody wants to quote DLC of the Generation, a lot of people are probably going to vote for Shadow of the Erdtree from Elden Ring, of course. But yes, continue to be the moron that you are. Now, as we continue, it's been a minute since we had the feature. NYC Prophet, of course. This guy is a moron too. He's been ousted so much recently as well, thanks to KJN and other people, showing that he doesn't even play the games that he's touting, by the way, and the gamer score obviously shows that. But again, remember, ponies, we're capping for this game, and now it's coming to Game Pass, LOL, and they're talking about Sefue coming to Game Pass on October 2. Now, nobody was capping about Sefue. That was a great game. Still is a great game. A lot of folks loved the crap out of this game. I tried it out. I thought it was a great game, especially being an indie game. But that on top of that being said, what we're going to say here is the fact that, I don't know, this game was already on PlayStation Plus as an offering, so it has been available to the PlayStation ecosystem, not only first to buy for quite some time, but then also on their base plan. But now you're going to tout that as some sort of W over on the Xbox side of things here. But whatever. Let's continue going. I'm not wasting more time there. And let's circle back around to Anna Anson here. Wanted a quick palate cleanser from that, which none of these are really palate cleansers. These are more delusional takes, but that being said, fun fact they state, Starfield has over than 1,000 plus planets launched in a better shape and polish than Spider-Man 2, which is a mini size of a city. Weird way to state that. Bethesda, under Xbox management, became better and better. Hashtag again, Xbox Game Pass. We have to call a spade here. I don't believe that Starfield launched in a better state than Spider-Man 2. We've gone over this in way past older Salty Batch videos, of course. And that being said, is I didn't experience but maybe one bug. Number two, so he's getting, of course, what this is a video that he shared and states all the bugs that all the people came across, right? And so you can create a compilation of anything. The same thing can be said and done with the Starfield bugs as well. So I think that's a great comparison there, when you're not even calling out all the bugs that happened with Starfield, especially at its launch and within the first 12 months, of course. That being said as well, the best part, the kicker to this all, right, is Bethesda under Xbox management has become better and better. That's been the complete opposite. Bethesda was in its prime well before going under the Microsoft umbrella, and I haven't seen any repercussions or benefits as far as regards of quality management since it's been under that Microsoft umbrella. So again, mind explosion here of what they're saying. And again, misinformation after misinformation, right? Absolutely crazy. And I mean, honestly, Spider-Man, again, like I mentioned in previous videos multiple times, one of the most popular IPs and superheroes out there next, along with Batman, right? So it sells itself regardless of what you're doing here. So you can kind of try and curve that now. Again, they're feeling those effects of not only the exclusives on the PlayStation ecosystem, but they're also still feeling those effects of the PlayStation 5 Pro as a whole package. When you think about it as a whole, that's exactly what they're doing. Damage control is kind of the theme today, right? As of always. Now let's shift on over to another person here. I don't believe I've featured JP Tells You before, but here we have a delusional post from him. Xbox is king with more first-party exclusives than PlayStation 5 will ever have, with more Xbox acquisitions coming. Now, with the hashtag deal with it, mind you. Hashtag deal with it. More like the Xbox fan bases had to deal with it because that's what they had to do for the entirety of 2 generations plus. But who am I? Who am I? Those are just facts. So, but let's break this down real quick, right? With more first-party exclusives than PlayStation will ever have, that's completely incorrect. Especially the fact that, again, like I've mentioned, even in this video, their exclusives are not going to remain exclusives. They're going to continue to shift to a PlayStation platform, if not Nintendo as well, depending on the game. The time for their exclusives are over. They made their bed, they lied in it, or they lie in it rather, and what are we doing here with that, right? What are we doing with that? Nothing. So that's completely incorrect. And then, of course, with more Xbox acquisitions coming, yes, because they already spent so much money between the umbrella of ZeniMax and, of course, ABK, that's the first thing they're going to do is look for another acquisition when they're still trying to make their money back. And they've had to do, again, as I mentioned in this video, a crap ton of layoffs. But yes, the next thing we want to do is continue those acquisitions. That's what's great for gaming, especially AAA gaming, of course. What are we doing here? This guy, I may have come across him a couple times, but never featured on the channel. This one was a cream de la crop of delusional takes for the day almost. I don't know. We might have to have a ranking system put in place for how delusional these takes really are. But sit on that for a minute. Sit on that one for a minute, I know. But let's round out the final one. The final one is absolutely insane as well. This is how much disdain they have towards PlayStation, by the way. But we have A post from Insider Gaming talking about millions of gamers see this PSN goes offline because, yes, just the other day, PlayStation Network went offline for a few hours, right? Quite a few hours. It happens on all sides of things, right? It goes down more so on the Xbox side of things and PlayStation, so keep that in mind. However, Carlos Solis, the first time that I came across this person as well, another delusional individual, this is great. So he states, this is a perfect opportunity for Xbox to strike back and get in the good graces of gamers. If I'm them, I give everyone Game Pass free for a year right now. That would be a mic drop moment. So again, they think that just because Microsoft is a very rich company, that they have this endless bag of money that they want to dip into. Give everybody Game Pass who may not even have a TV, a Fire Stick, a console, a PC, or whatever. Here's Game Pass. Here's how you have to activate it. This is going to activate a ton of people. They're just going to randomly drop it. That's your idea of getting and garnering a new fan base, or the original fan base back if they left, or new customers coming over to that ecosystem. I mean, what are we doing here? Like, this is absolute insanity. I'm pretty sure. You know what? I almost kind of take that back. I feel like this is the type of people that they employ over at Microsoft, right? They employ these kind of individuals making these bonehead decisions. So maybe he does have a bright future after all over at Microsoft, because it really seems like this is the direction they like to go and make these boneheaded decisions, like I said. So maybe he does have a bright future after all. You're right. Let's go ahead and give everybody free for Game Pass. That will solve everything. In fact, Microsoft, go ahead and listen to this guy. I think it's brilliant. Such a great idea. Especially, this is just one of those greatest mic drop moments that you could do, is just give everybody. I'm sure that will work out great in the long run. Believe you me, I'm sure. So, that being said, right now, I think that's the longest I can take as far as these delusions. People ask, how do I do it? How do I sift through it? Sometimes I have to separate that because it does make you lose some brain cells at times. I have to separate that piece of it. But that being said, I appreciate everybody sticking around for the entirety of this video, of course. I really do appreciate everybody's support. Every like and comment does help out the algorithm. Plus, I obviously love to hear from y'all down in the comment section below. And on top of that, if you haven't already, definitely consider subscribing, helping out a small content creator like myself. We are well on our way to that 2,500 subscriber goal. So thank you all so much. I really do appreciate that. Every share, word of mouth as well, additionally helps, of course. And of course, as always, just remember, don't be a salty batch. And we'll see you all next time on the next Xvault Gaming video. And until then, take care.